Alright, well, the first thing I'm going to do to this budget bass that I found at Savers is probably try and oil and clean up the fretboard. So I thought I'd talk about that a little bit before I did it. So if you work and play with guitars, you probably know a little bit about cleaning up a fretboard, but I'm going to talk about what I do. And what I do is I usually use some lem oil. So I have lem oil there, and then I ran out, so I got some other lem oil. So this is a fretboard conditioner. This is really good for rosewood. It's gonna penetrate the wood. Maple necks are usually have a stain. A clear or something on top of them, so it's probably not going to penetrate the wood. But that wood's protected, and it'll definitely clean it, and it'll get in the frets and all that. What you don't want to do is you don't want to apply this and let it soak, because it'll get into the frets and it can lift the fret. So what you want to do is apply it to a rag, or apply it and move it around and do it quickly. Another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use some really fine steel wool. So this is quadruple O steel wool. This is extremely fine steel wool. You can use this on glass or chrome, and it'll clean it up and it won't scratch it. You want to use some kind of agent in conjunction with that, some kind of oil or something. But basically I'm going to put lem oil right on this fretboard, and I'm going to buff out the frets, rather than having to and see where they're at, because I don't think I'm going to have to go through the process of leveling or crowning them or any of that. I think I can just buff them out, and they look fairly well intact, so I'm not really going to worry about it. It's mostly just dirty. So basically I'm going to spray some lem oil on here, and I'm going to use some steel wool, and I can show you a little bit of that. I probably won't do the whole thing. This is a brand new pad of steel wool, and I'm just going to shut this here, this door behind me. And this is the older bottle of lem oil that I have. So again, you want to apply it with care, because applying it straight to the fretboard like this, not a super good idea, but in this case is extremely dirty. So I will be okay with it, because I'm going to move it around rather quickly. You want to spread it around evenly, and you definitely don't want to let it sit for too long on the fretboard. But I'm just going to go over each fret like that. I'm going to clean up the fretboard, and you can see it's really soaking it up. It's probably never been oiled, this guitar. Again, you don't want to let it sit, so you want to go over it. You don't want to let it get into the frets, under the frets. It'll swell the wood, it'll push the fret out. It's really not a good idea. But that's basically what I'm going to do. It's a little, I need behind the camera over here is, I have an old rag that I use to just soak it up. And already you can see that it started to clean the fretboard. It started to buff out and polish the frets. And this process really won't hurt these frets at all. And I'm going to do this probably several times to this fretboard, because it's very, very dirty. And then after that, I am going to take a thin layer of lem oil and put a thin coat of lem oil on this and let it sit for probably about 15 to 20 minutes. But a very thin layer, so it only really sits on top and not into the frets. And then I'm going to let a thin layer soak into the fretboard. I'm going to come back, wipe that down, and then I may repeat this process maybe 1 or 2 times. And this will really condition the rosewood, keep it really good and oiled. In my opinion, this will work fine. Someone may disagree with me, but that's what I'm going to do, and I don't see any issue with it. The frets are already starting to come back. This guitar was not used very much. It was more or less abused. somebody had it and just beat the crap out of it. It's not a very high-end guitar, but it is a quality instrument from Ibanez. They're lower in the budget series, but yeah, I mean, they do put care into their instruments, and this instrument is going to come back 100%. I'm going to try and either get the green off, or I will be painting this body. We're going to take it one step at a time with this guitar. So that's about it for now. I'm going to go ahead and clean this fretboard and see how it polishes up, and we'll come back, I'll show you that. And I'm probably going to do a disassembly on the guitar and check back, and we'll have some more info.